Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Bashim, Ashai, Bashim, Kakadash, Barakatam. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Stone and bishops, holding on sincerity and the gospel of Lord Amashak Yahweh in these days and times with Amnasha with the DC camp. Short lesson for the hopeful elect. So I gotta make this lesson as brief as possible. Yeah, because, you know, working with these devices can cause you to go into what you call it, procrastination mode, man, when the device is running hot. But hey, do whatever you can, all right, while you have the opportunity. Second Ezra chapter 8, verses 1. I'm going to read all the way to verse 3. It says, "And he answered me, saying, The Most High had made this world, this world for many, but the world to come for a few." And that's the realization that the men of the Lord have been focusing on, for ages. The prophets have been focusing on this for millennia, and now we begin to have a better understanding of why the Lord is allowing this prophecy to take a proper foothold into our spirit. All right. And then verse 2 says, "I will tell thee a similitude, Ezra, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mold, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world." So it's telling you that the earth has more soil when you compare it to gold and precious metals, man. All right, the earth is much more of regular soil than gold and silver, minerals of the earth. They cannot be compared to the quantity of soil on the earth. So is the Lord's comparison of his elect to the nation of Israel. All right, his elect to the entirety of our people spread out throughout the four corners of the earth. And then verse 3 says, "There be many created, but few shall be saved." And that's one thing we have to deal with on a regular basis, man. It's always in our spirit that the Lord has already destined the salvation to come, the deliverance to come, to be for a few. All right, a few. And that's his remnant. That's the cluster that he's always had his eye on, the apple of his eye, are those that he's sealed from before the foundation of the earth. And it's what we are currently witnessing. And you're seeing that the Lord is forming up an environment whereby there shall be a separation. All right, this environment of instability brings about separation. It doesn't bring about the stability. It doesn't bring about comfort. It separates. Just like you have the sifting pan and all that stuff, you're able to separate. Just like the gold pan, you're able to separate, things from things you do not need. All right, what you're looking for is much more important than what you do desire. So you have to accept that, man. That all this animosity around the whole world is to bring about a separation, and that animosity has to reach a certain level that is going to be a huge spark, and that spark is going to lead to like I say, to the revelation of who serving the Lord, who the Lord has destined to be reserved for salvation. All right. So the book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and 8. What does it say? Thus said the Lord Yahweh Hashem Hashem Kakadash. As the new wine is found in the cluster, and one said, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it. So will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all. And that's our prayer, that we get reserved, we get delivered, we get that blanket of mercy that we really, really pray for. All right, that blanket of mercy is no joke, man. In a cold world like this, you need that blanket, man. You need that safety blanket. So we go for the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 14. Let's see. It's 21 and let's see. Yeah, 21 and 22. What does it say? For thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah Kakadash, how much more when I send my four sore judgments upon Jerusalem, the sword and the famine and the noisome beasts and the pestilence, to cut off from it man and beast. So when that judgment comes, man, it's going to be horrible for our people, man. And you just have to pray that you have mercy, you have mercy coming your way from the Lord. Okay, it's going to be tough. Your faith is going to be tested. Your patience is going to be tested. Your anger, your level of tolerance is going to be tested. Verse 22 says, yet behold, there shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings, and ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it. So you're going to be so glad that the Lord has reserved unto himself a remnant. Okay? All right? Just like you have that relief that, wow, we still have people that made it out, so it's like a salvage operation, man. You're able to recover what is useful. And that's what it is, man. That's what we're going to have in those days, man. You're going to be so glad that you're still going to have those that believe in the name of the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai, to be able, to stand until the end. All right. So what next? We're gonna read from the book of Micah, chapter 5, 7 and 9. It says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord Yahweh Hashem Kakadash, and as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waited for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion and sheep, who, if he go through, both tread it down and tear it in pieces, and none can deliver. So that's the type of blessings you're going to have in those days, man, when the Lord sets up, his servants to embark on that journey of salvation. The 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 man of the Lord will not be able to have a formidable adversary, formidable enemy that can stand up, to the power the Lord shall give us. So you have to know that, hey, you're gonna beat these nations into powder, man. That's one thing that the Lord is gonna be putting upon us, man. Gonna be ingrained into our spirit. The multitude of nations will not be able to stand up to one Israelite. That's how powerful, the promise of the Lord, will be exhibited upon the face of the earth. One one Israelite can take down a whole nation. So it's gonna be beautiful to see the power of the Lord, man, because that's the power, concentrated power, man, to be able to hold the nations in position, keep them subjugated. All right. So you're gonna be able to deal with them as the Lord deems fit. And then verse 9 says, "Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off." Yeah, so you're going to put these nations in check. That's just one thing that the remnant we have to be prepared for. Just like we had to go through the eye of the needle, to be approved of the Lord, these nations too have to be shaken down, man. You know, mission. Just like we submitted ourselves unto the Lord, these nations will have to submit themselves unto us too. That's just order. That's the order that the Lord has set forth. And then when you also read from the book of Wisdom of Solomon, what does it say? In chapter 3 and 7, it says what? "And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble." Yep. So it's going to be a sight to behold, man. When the Lord unleashes his blessing upon us, you see how the nations will be shaking in their boots, man. The nations will be, they're going to experience the wrath of the Lord. So it's going to be a great a great event, that will be remembered throughout the ages. So another precept to read up will be from the book of Sirach, chapter 44, and then verse 17. What does it say? It says, "Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath, he was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came." So you have to be ready to accept that responsibility of being a remnant. Yeah, you have to be ready to accept the responsibility of being a remnant, man. You have to learn to walk that straight and narrow path, having your spiritual eye focused on the blueprint that the Lord has given you, man. Because this world, man, this world needs to be recalibrated, and that's where we come in. That's where the Lord has set forth his elect to become the architects of that recalibration. All right, we have to recalibrate the world according to the righteousness of the Lord. All right, there's too much disorder in this world, and you have to let the Lord, you know, bring forth stability, bring forth order. All right, that's one thing that we're looking forward to. So, yeah, as a man of the Lord, you have to like order. You have to specialize in building structure. You have to have structure. When teams don't have the structure you desire, you have to tear it apart and put it back the way you want it to be. Okay, that's why there has to be destruction of the earthly system. The system of this world has to be destroyed. All right, the system of the heathen has to be turned down and has to be, you know, dumped, into a pit. And we have to build a new system, a system that is focused upon righteousness. That righteousness is the cornerstone of it, all right? And that's where Yahweh Shai, comes in, all right? So, another precept will be from Sirach 47 and 22 says, but the Lord will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his works perish, neither shall he abolish the posterity of his elect. So, hey, the Lord has already promised that his elect will always have their confidence in him. And the seed of the elect are also going to be in their stead, all right? There's going to be a legacy that will never be uprooted or interrupted. And the seed of him that loveth him, he would not take away. Wherefore he giveth, wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David. So the Lord made sure that the elect had their position firm, all right, in the line that is given unto them, in the line of Jacob, our forefather Israel. All right, that's just what it is. And hey, it's a line. It's a lineage. It's a spiritual lineage that the Lord has always kept His pulse on. Okay, so we get one more precept, man, because just like you read the book of Psalms, the book of Psalms, represents how the Lord has always kept His pulse upon the life of our forefather King David. So the book of Psalms, the system acting funny. Psalms chapter 124, verses 6 to 8. It says this: Blessed be the Lord Yahweh Hashem Ashai Hashem Kakadash, who had not given us as a prey to their teeth, all right, to the teeth of our adversaries, to the teeth of our enemies, all right, because remember, Revelation 12 and 12 talks about the devil coming down upon the saints of the Lord having great wrath. So we're going to be able to overcome, the devil, the adversary, by our testimony of the Lord of Mashiach Yahushai. Okay. And then verse 7 says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. So the Lord is going to undo the shackles, the fetters of iron that the enemy has placed upon us, to anchor us to his system. And the Lord is going to the Lord is going to reward us, man, for fighting for freedom. And freedom, freedom from oppression is something that the so-called human spirit longs for, man. And the spirit of the saint, the spirit of the elect, does not want to be anchored to the spirit of oppression. We want our spirit to be anchored to the spirit of righteousness, the spirit of life, the spirit of faith. Okay. And then verse 8 says, our help is in the name of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Shai, Hashem Kakadash, who made heaven and earth. So that's where we have to anchor our focus, anchor our being, our existence upon this earth is anchored upon the name of the Lord. So you cannot, detach yourself, man. You cannot break that connection. You shouldn't seek to break that connection that you have with the Lord. That's what you have, the Lord Amashak Yahushai. Right, Yahushai is that he's that attachment. He's the one that anchors you to the Lord, man. So you have to make sure you keep that anchor where it belongs, man. You don't want to be swept away by the storm. You want to be you want to be at the dock. Yeah, you want to be at the dock, you want to be anchored properly, man. You don't want to be out there in the middle of the nowhere being tossed to and fro, destroyed by these tumultuous waves of the sea. All right, so you have to learn to stay where you need to be. All right, which is in the mercies of the Lord. Yahweh Shema Shah Bashim Kakadash, and that's the that's the summary of this lesson, man. You just learn to focus on your obligation of being a remnant. Being a remnant means you have a grand opportunity to focus on the things you need to do. Your distractions become minimal when you are concerned about the plight of the remnant. All right, you're not out there tending to an innumerable multitude. You're only focused on the elect. All right, so that's the conclusion of this lesson. Abaratazar, you've been edified, and you know we keep the fire burning. The fire of salvation. Shalom.